Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and I don't think I have to introduce the fellow next to me. This is Joe Miller. Most people in town know who Joe Miller is. Most people a lot of places know who Joe Miller is.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day and thinking about how that you're not just an artist or a businessman or a writer even. You're also an actor. You know?
Yeah, I enjoy doing that.
Uh-huh. I haven't seen Vermeer. I've got to see the Vermeer one.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's Van Gogh's a serious little one-man play that I do, or one-man, I call it a monologue.
Yeah, well, it kind of is.
It's pretty serious because his life was serious. His life was sad. And Vermeer, on the other hand, is a little misleading to say the play is about Vermeer because it's really about a man who forged Vermeer.
It's inspired by Vermeer.
And so, yeah, and it's a pretty exciting story. It happened during World War II, during that period of time. And it's really hilarious to think how this forger got away with it for all these years. So that's what it's really about.
Now, the forgeries, you and I have talked about the idea of doing a whole workshop of forgeries and, you know, teaching people how to forge.
Right.
Sort of. But we'll have to cook that up. Maybe if y'all stay tuned, we'll be back talking about that. I think that'd be a fun event to do.
It would be.
But Joe's always up to something fun. I have a picture that I use of you a lot that you and Mike Wise are standing on the stage of the Hayes Center, Hayes Auditorium, and you have a wig on, and you put a wig on Mike. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. That was an opening thing over there.
It was for the Artful Palette.
Yes, it was.
And you hosted it and got Mike Wise up there and made him look just charming.
It was a lot of fun. I remember that.
Well, you know, you're always full of a lot of fun, and I think that one big part of your life is children. And
certainly is.
You have grandchildren, and
Yes,
you're
I do.
very, very drawn to children. You
Yes.
have your Vincent for, what is it called, the brushes?
Brushes for Vincent. Yes.
That's a program aimed at children
It
and
is.
a lot of other things that you do. And this book that you've been promoting for a while now is One Night, Two Moons, and
Yes.
it's a book for children.
It is a book for children.
Although I think we adults are kind of enjoying it too.
Well, certainly adults are buying the book, but I'm sure it's for children or their grandchildren or great-grandchildren. I have a great-grandchild now.
That's right, I did know that. Yes,
They've already read the book to her, so I can't wait to where
she's grow up quoting the book.
Yes.
My children did that. Books I read often enough, they got to where they could quote them, and if I misread them, they knew it.
I bet.
So, you know,
bet.
this is what's going to happen with your book.
I hope so.
Now, this book also has local characters in it. It has your grandchildren in it.
Yes, it does.
But it also has some local characters.
It
and
does.
I say that with a lot of emphasis.
Yes, it certainly does.
Let's talk about those characters. Who's in this book?
Well, John Stacy is Doc Stacy in the book, pharmacist Doc Stacy. And he's on his big old tractor called Chug-a-Chug. And he comes to buy a trailer full of Christmas trees for all of his clan.
Right.
And their wonderful family. And then the other person is Mr. Sam Adams.
Yep.
And Sam is driving the big green truck. And of course, Sam and John are great friends. And we've traveled and played golf together and this sort of thing. So, and Johnny is actually the next door neighbor to Gary Brown,
which is another set of characters in this book.
which is also Gary and his wife Linda have the Christmas tree farm out 194. And last year, not last year now, year before last now, I went there, and that's what inspired me to do this little book. And I just think they were great people, and it was just such a wonderful event. It was snowing a little bit, and Gary had his big Clydesdale horse out there pulling a big wooden sled, and all the children climb on the sled and take a ride. And of course, I had to take a ride too, which was fun, you know. And it really just did inspire me very much.
Great.
And then the story just kind of flowed once I got into it.
And you and I were talking before Christmas about the chicken and the egg thing.
Yes.
And how that most people would assume that you wrote the story,
Yes.
and then that you drew the pictures to go with it,
Yeah.
or painted the pictures. But in your case, that was kind of backwards.
It was. A lot of things in my life are backwards, I guess. But anyhow, I went back home that evening late, and did a painting from my experience there at the Christmas tree farm.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the painting. It was comical.
Uh-huh.
I didn't try to be realistic, because I'm not a realistic painter. I'm not a realist. But it was kind of happy painting. And then I had another canvas. They're 36 by 36. And I had another one, and I just butted them up together and continued the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I had a diptych.
So if we look at the book, we
Mm-hmm.
could probably figure this out, right?
Yes, you can.
Cool. So this was a sequence.
This is a sequence.
Did you
That's
go
right.
back and add pieces in between
I
to
did.
kind of connect it?
Actually, there now are 8 36
Uh-huh.
by 36 paintings, and then there are about, I'm going to guess, 12 or 15 smaller pieces
Right.
that are characters in the book,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing.
It's a really fun, and you know, I was talking to you the first time I saw this about how different this style of painting is
Yes,
from
for
your
me,
usual style
yeah.
of painting. Now, why'd you do that?
Well, it was so much fun. It's I almost, you know, they say you find yourself in what you paint.
Uh-huh.
And I just found that I enjoyed it so much. I knew my grandchildren would enjoy
Right.
it. And I just got another couple of canvases, put them together, and the first thing you know, I've got this little scene laid out, and I thought, I've already got a book written.
Yeah.
And all I've got to do is put the words in it, and
Right.
it's there.
Uh-huh.
So after, I probably really did write 8 or 10 different stories until I finally got it down to what I wanted.
The right one.
And then I had to tweak some of the paintings, of course, but it was just, I know it's a cliche, but a labor of love. It
Yeah.
really was. There was no work involved.
What kind of style would you say this is?
Oh, I don't have any idea.
It almost feels like a Grandma Moses style, you know?
People tell me that it has a Grandma Moses. Perspective's way off,
Oh, yeah.
because the cows way up on the hill and way back are larger than the...
So the ones up close?
Yeah. And there's a car, one of my favorites is this little car that's just going straight uphill. It should turn over that way, you know.
Gravity doesn't apply.
No. And the title came from, I kept trying to think, because the Christmas trees have a party and dance and
Yes.
everything. And I knew they needed light to do that. So thus the title, One Night, Two Moons, because there's 2 full moons in the sky on the night they have their party.
2 spotlights.
2 big ones. Yeah.
That's really fun. Now, this book was a huge success. You sold out so fast.
We did.
And so now you've got more.
We have more.
That's great.
Yep,
So
they're
now
available
if
now.
you missed it, you're not lost.
No.
Joe has made sure you've got something.
And we would certainly invite you to come. All the stores that had them still have them. We've replenished them. So
Right.
all the Boone Drug Company stores.
Right.
The Mass store has them. Brom in Blowing Rock has them.
Right.
The drugstore, of course, in Blowing Rock has them. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff, we have them there, of course. So
And did you say they could be ordered?
they can be ordered.
Okay, how do you order them?
Well, simply pick up the phone and call Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. They'll take your order.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be glad to personalize them, and we'll still mail them out to you.
So you just tell the person when you order it what you want on the book, or
Exactly.
who it's for at least.
Exactly. And be sure you spell the name if it's to someone, because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different name spellings, you know, and I'll be sure and get it right if they'll do
And
that.
it'll still be legible, so they'll know that it's misspelled, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Now, Joe, I was thinking about you too, and the fact that you've been a staunch supporter of the Arts Council for so many years. As a matter of fact, for those who don't know it, Joe was one of the founders of the Arts Council.
Yep.
And many years ago.
Many years ago.
Yes, running up on 33 years ago, I think. And so the Arts Council is extremely diverse, and we cover every kind of art form that we can find, you know. And I was thinking about you and correlating that, and thought, you know, the only art form I can think of that I haven't seen Joe dabble in is dance.
No, you're right.
Is this
I
next?
don't think so. You know, I don't think I'll be invited to Dancing with the Stars. I don't think that's going to happen.
But you know, that is the only piece of the arts that I feel like I don't see a piece of you somewhere in.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Well, you just keep on looking.
okay, so
I'm sure it's just right around the corner.
we're gonna watch for
I feel like it. I feel like it will be ballet.
ballet. Okay, in the leotard at all? Ooh.
No, I'm afraid I'm not a dancer.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people would disagree with that. It just depends on what you're dancing in.
Yeah,
know?
there you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because there's all kinds of ways to dance.
Yeah,
So.
I like that.
We're gonna have to work on Joe, and when he debuts his dance, I promise you, I'll bring him back and show you how.
Absolutely. If you see me dancing, I'll come here with my tutu on and and do a dance.
Well, what
No.
makes you so diverse in your art? You know, I mean, it's almost like you keep coming out with a different personality or a different angle on it or a different something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so fortunate that I've had the opportunity to play with so much different art material.
Mm-hmm.
See, being in the art material business, which we're mainly mail order, of
Right.
course,
Right.
but we not only buy from companies around the world, but salesmen from around the world come to us to help promote their products,
Right.
that sort of thing. So every time they come, they'll leave a sample or two to try. And that really, I guess, is part of my big job there at Cheap Joe's, is trying new product and deciding what product is going to go in the catalog and what
Right.
product is not going in the catalog. Because if we get something and we haven't tried it, we put it in the catalog and it sells and it's inferior product, that's no good. So we try to make sure that everything goes in the catalog, number one, does what it says it will do, is of high quality,
Right.
archival we call it, so it's going to be around a long, long time. So I have this wonderful opportunity to do that. Right now, we have two new products that are just fabulous. One of them is called TerraSkin. And
I've heard of that.
TerraSkin is a paper that's made from stone.
Huh.
No water and no pulp are involved in the making of this paper.
They
made in
grind it
Canada.
down?
I wish I knew how they made it. I think
Huh.
that would be fun to know, but I
Right.
have not a clue. But it's made in Canada. It's called TerraSkin, and it's like a plastic paper. So that when you paint on it, it appears that everything sits up right on the top.
Right.
And then when it dries, it kind of smooths out. So watercolor bubbles like on glass, but then when it dries, it all gets back together, and it gives these wonderful techniques and effects.
Don't you wonder how somebody thought of this?
So
That's-
that's
yeah,
been a lot of
That's one
fun.
of two new products. What's the other one?
Well, the other new product we have that I really have enjoyed using are watercolor pencils.
Oh,
And
yes.
they're not necessarily new, but we have some really high quality pencils, and you simply do like a child. In fact, we give those in our brushes for Vincent to children in hospitals because they can color with the pencil, and then once they get it all colored, you just take a damp brush and go over it, and it all just blends together.
Yes.
And it makes a watercolor that's really neat with all these wonderful colors and things. So
And it's something that'll wash out.
It is.
Unlike alcohol inks, which are another fairly new product.
they are, and they're fun too.
We've been doing workshops and classes in alcohol inks lately, and it's one of those things that kind of does its own thing. You
It
know,
does.
You know.
With bright colors.
Oh yeah.
Happy colors.
Very exciting.
They
Very
are.
Exciting.
So
I love listening to a workshop in alcohol
me.
ink because down the hall you can hear, oh, look what it did.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get so excited. So, and that brings up a thing too. Now you teach workshops, and,
do.
and Cheap Joe's offers workshops, and they're on a very wonderful scale, incredible. You bring in big time folks to teach a lot of these workshops. You teach some of them yourself. We also have local folks who teach workshops, more, a little bit less involved, a little bit, yours are often, aren't they usually about a week? Or
they're a week long,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday.
Right, and so ours are not always as intense. So ours are the beginning stage, then you go take his workshops.
Yeah.
But the Arts Council, through the Blue Ridge Art Space, is offering a big variety of workshops, including the alcohol ink and several of these other things. We haven't heard of this TerraSkin. We'll have to work on that
Yeah,
one.
they'll like it.
Yeah. So we'll have to get together and figure that one out. I've
You
got to
bet.
see this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know, you have a lot of artists that work for you.
We do. I think I believe I'm telling you right that 60% of the people that work
say
at
that's
Cheap
probably
Joe's
true.
do some form of art.
Well, and I'd say probably the 60% started out doing some form of art, and I think some of the rest of them get into it.
A lot do. You're exactly right.
It's kind of contagious. So, and I think one of the reasons they enjoy working so much for you, besides the wonderful environment and the fact that y'all are such great employers, is the fact that they also sometimes have opportunities to help test products.
They do.
And that's cool, you know, that they
Excuse me,
have that
they sure do.
opportunity. So, y'all have been a big part of the business community in our community and helped make the arts a major part of our community.
Thank
you know?
you.
And
Thank
so
you for
that's
that.
something we both appreciate.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
And we hope you do too. They have a website. Can you
Just
rattle it off?
cheapjoes.com.
cheapjoes.com, and watauga-arts.org is the Arts Council's website. I will say that Cheap Joe's has been not only a staunch supporter of the Arts Council, but specifically a sponsor of our galleries for we don't really know how many years.
Long time.
A long time. And we have 4 galleries in the Blue Ridge Art Space now, so you need to keep coming by and checking out the fruits of their support, because there's a lot going on in the arts in our community.
Does everyone know where you are now?
I hope so, but you know, I say it a lot, but it's at
Yeah.
the corner of Shadowline and State Farm. If you
Easy
go,
to get to.
Exactly. If you turn up by, Five Guys on Shadowline Drive, and you pass Appalachian Bryan on the left, and then the former Shadowline plant, then just past that on the corner, we're the next building, the only building, right before you get to the red light. So don't go all the way to the red light, make a left turn into our parking lot.
Yeah.
We're easy to find.
It is. Great new place.
And you're just going to have to come sign these books now, since we didn't get a chance to do it before Christmas.
I'll be glad to. We'll set a time and
We'll
let
do
people
that.
know. And
We'll do that.
Okay.
All right,
That'd
and
be
then
fun.
we're going to have a dancing recital.
We can do that too.
Now, you know what I just thought of? We left out singing. Do you sing?
No, I couldn't sing today anyhow. I'm
But
a little hoarse, but
normally.
no, in the shower. I'm a shower
Okay.
singer.
Okay. We'll have to hide a microphone sometime.
Yeah.
Okay. Check out our website and also the Cheap Joe's website for so much exciting stuff that's going on in the arts in Watauga County.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.